Yo. Back at it again. Back at it again. Back at it again. Try to see who get some people in here early this morning. Yawning. Early in the morning. But yeah, I wanted to jump back in here because that video I did yesterday on the way home, got some old OSU fans. They like what do you say? You're not keeping it 100. Kyle Mccord was mid in more games than Michigan. I never said he wasn't. I never said he wasn't. But what up? But the thing about it is he was a first year starter. Whether he was a sophomore or a junior, a first year starter, he gonna have growing pains regardless. And I think you Ohio State fans, y'all got a little braggadocious with Ryan Day and the system, thinking he's just gonna pluck out. Oh, he's got 5 stars. All these guys are 5 stars. They're gonna be great. And the clock ran out on a first time starter, first year full time starter is just gonna be lights out. And that's just not how it goes a lot of the times. So me saying that he was mid or mid against Michigan, that was me saying it really didn't matter who it was. He was gonna look mid against Michigan. But y'all acting like a first time starter's not gonna have some growing pains. That's just not logical. Hell, you can say C.J. Stroud has some first-year starter growing pains. Now, his arm talent is way better than Kyle McCord's. But they both have growing pains because you're a first-year starter. Just like any of our quarterbacks, they're going to have some growing pains because it's their first time being a full-time starter. That's just football. Y'all done got so used to having quarterbacks come in as a first-time starter and light it up that y'all forgot how it really is. Now y'all done came down to reality, which y'all really still haven't came down to reality, because you're expecting, if Devin Brown is the starter, he's gonna be lights out. You're expecting, Will Howard, he's been a starter, so you're expecting him to be lights out, even though when he was a full-time starter, he wasn't that good. If I'm being real, he wasn't that good. You're expecting Julian Sand to come in and be a full-time starter and be lights out and win you a championship. Really don't matter. Whoever y'all think is going to be the starter, y'all think he's going to be lights out and he's going to win y'all a championship this year. That's just where y'all mindset at. But the Kyle McCord stuff, it is what it is to me. My point wasn't to say that he wasn't somewhat mid. It was that whoever Michigan played last year, they all looked mid. It didn't matter who it was. That was my real point. But with Kyle McCord, I don't know who honking, but with Kyle McCord, it's like A first-year starter usually gets better that second year. You know what I'm saying? That next year, he usually gets better. Understand what it takes to be a full-time starter. Understands the defenses more because he's been a full-time starter. He's seen more of it. You know what I'm saying? Now, he can still be mid. He could be. My point is, whether he was mid through the year or he was lights out through the year, it didn't matter. He was going to look mid against Michigan. He was going to look trash against Michigan. That's the real point. So yeah, I really just wanted to address that. But yeah, we getting closer to the year. I know people still got questions, and this is why I don't go make that many videos right now, because to me, there's so many of them out there, and I'm just like, people don't want to hear the same stuff, because everybody got the same questions. Everybody got the main question: the quarterback. How good is the quarterback gonna be? How will it be Orgy? Will it be Tuttle? And how good are they gonna look? Because the season rests on that. OSU was moving too fast. Should have stayed with Mccord. Honestly, I think so. Am I drinking and driving? I don't even really drink. I got my water. This is the good water. This is the good stuff. This the good stuff. You know, they say plastic. They say if you put the water in the plastic seeps into it. So the good water, you know, I work for a water company, not this one, but the good water is in bottles. It's in glass containers. That's the good stuff. But yeah, you know, everybody complained that, you're right, who has ever said that, everybody complained that they QB had an off day against Michigan. It wasn't they had an off day, it's just they didn't know what the hell they were seeing. You know, they didn't know what they were seeing. Yeah, Kyle Mccord, he did become the scapegoat for them a lot. You know, when you have a first-time year starter, you expect him to not be perfect, but they did. They expected him to be perfect. You know, I would have, like, if I was an Ohio State fan and making videos about them like that, and I'm a fan of them, you would have saw me give Mccord more leeway because this is his first year starting. You know what I'm saying? This is his first year. You know, you expect him to come back that second year. Okay, he's had a whole off season, knows what it takes to be the starter, knows the pressure that comes with it, and you expect him to get better because he knows what he needs to work on now. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Ryan Day didn't want to make him the starter. You know, we all know the story with him and his dad. It's all neither here nor there. It's just, I mean, let's be real. OSU was they were the Michigan game from making the playoff, or making the Big Ten championship and probably making the playoff. You know, and that was the pressure of what it used to be. It's not like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I've talked about this before. It's not like that. It's not like that anymore. You couldn't lose before. Ohio State lost to Michigan. Whoop, you're not in the playoff anymore. Your season's down the drain. Now, fast forward to this year, if Ohio State loses to us and it has one loss, they're going to make the playoff. Fast forward this year, if Michigan loses to Ohio State, that's our only loss. We're still going to make the playoff. Hell, if we lose to Oregon in Ohio State, we're still probably going to make the playoff. And your season's goals, yeah, you might have missed on, okay, of course, our season goal is to beat everybody. But okay, let's say we lost to Ohio State, we lost to Oregon. Yeah, we missed those goals, but the ultimate goal of being in the playoff and trying to win a national championship is there now this year. So you don't have to be perfect. The we have to be perfect scenario, it's not really there anymore. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose any games, but college football before was, hey, the playoff starts from the first game on, pretty much. When the season starts, the playoff starts. That's how it was. And it's not like that anymore. You don't have to be perfect for your dreams to come true. You really just have to have a pretty good season and then hopefully play your best ball when the playoff starts. Play lights out. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is now. You know, you go undefeated. Yeah, you get that bye, but the goal is really just to get in. You get in the tournament, now I can see what's happening. So that's the big thing. So you could have brought Kyle McCord back, you know, maybe trust him. Hopefully he got better. You got more trust in him. You know what he excels at. And he doesn't have to be perfect. But I think Ryan Day's job is kind of on the line in multiple ways. If he loses to Michigan and wins a championship, he's probably straight. But if he loses to Michigan and doesn't win a championship, they might want you out of here. Honestly, I can't say for sure because OSU fans are kind of fickle with Ryan Day now. They kind of fickle with him. So that he maybe can lose to Michigan again and keep his job. I know I was watching Zach Smith yesterday. He was like, if he loses to Michigan again, he's out of here. That's what Zach was saying. So, hey, he's closer to the program than I am. So maybe it is true. Am I concerned with recruiting? No, I'm not really concerned with it. I mean, it's somewhat of a concern. But the reason I'm not really up in arms about it is because I understand why recruiting is slow. You know what I'm saying? I understand why. It's just you got to be honest with yourself on why. to not get up in arms about recruiting, you have to be real with why recruiting is slow. Like, you just have to be real with yourself on why it's slow right now. You know, the what you call it, Harbaugh leaving. You got a new coach, and you got the NCAA. Well, let me say that again. Harbaugh leaving. NIL should probably be number one. So NIL, Harbaugh leaving, and the sanctions, because we don't know what's coming and they're using that against us. Every program that recruits against Michigan is going to be saying, we're going to give you more money, and do you know the sanctions? Do you know the NCAA's coming down on Michigan? You want to go there? Harbaugh's gone. You think they're going to continue it? I don't know. Sharon Moore, I don't know if he's that good of a coach. But that's why I don't get that up in arms about it, because I understand the reason why it's probably slow right now. You know what I'm saying? in a dream world. Now let's go back. So if this was year 2000, recruiting probably would have taken an uptick, even with Harbaugh leaving and even with the sanctions or whatever. But the money factor is huge. The money factor is huge. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're not willing to just put that money out there, it's gonna hurt you some. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt you. Because even if you do have a guy that's, let's say you got a guy that he likes Michigan. He really likes Michigan. He wants to go to Michigan for the most part. But then let's say he's got let's say Texas A&M. He kind of like Texas A&M. He don't like him as much as Michigan, but he likes him. And he's like, okay, I got Texas A&M and Michigan as my final two. I'm really leaning towards Michigan. And Texas A&M says, okay, how much money is Michigan willing to give you? And he's like, not much. Let's just say 10,000. Let's just say 10 bands. And Texas A&M says, oh, okay, that's nice. Well, we'll give you 50. Who's not gonna take that? Let's just put ourselves, put yourself into that. You're offered 10,000. And that's to say that Michigan would offer him any money at first. I'm being generous. Let's say 10,000. Put yourself in his shoes. Michigan's offering me 10,000. Texas A&M is offering me 50. Where are you gonna go as a 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid? Where are you gonna go? $10,000 or 50? And I could still get my 50 and say I'm gonna go to Michigan. I'm gonna transfer after my first year and go to Michigan. You know? Let's be real. Most of us are going to say we're going to Texas A&M to get that 50 bands. Most of us. That's just a fact. You know, so the money is a big factor because the NCAA is handcuffed, so you can throw out money, and they pretty much say they can't do nothing about it. So you got to put yourself in the shoes. If people are throwing out money like that, you gonna take that as an incoming freshman, because you like, I can make money as a freshman, or I can come to Michigan and maybe not make any money at first. You know, I can maybe get a deal if I'm highly touted. I can get a deal with somebody. But what is Michigan going to do for me financially? What are you going to do for me financially, Michigan? Are you going to help me get deals? Are you just going to give me some money? Because these other schools, they giving money off top. We leading with money. We're going to give you 100,000 in NIL. We're going to give you 10 million in NIL. Some of these schools are going crazy with the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to take that into account. Like that's the name of the game now. Thankfully, they've made the rules a little bit better to help us, honestly, with the you got to pay the players, you know, the 20 million and all that. That makes it a little better for us because we're not just throwing it out. So them putting rules in and them putting some guidelines helps us, because Michigan needed that, because they're too scared to just throw money in. Who wants to just throw money at people that haven't earned it? Nobody wants to do that. Well, I can't say nobody, since it's the name of the game now, so everybody was doing it. But Michigan, we not gonna do that. So the guidelines really should help us. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, even with the guidelines, you can still throw extra money throw all that extra money out. You know what I'm saying? So Michigan really has to get it together with this money type situation if you want to see that real uptick in recruiting. Now, on the other hand, you got schools that are doing this and the player don't care about that team. He don't care. So you all right, we throwing it back. We got a great team. We getting all these kids, but in the end they don't want to be there. If they don't really care about your school, guess what? You're a ticking time bomb for that team to implode. Similar to Texas A&M, similar to what Miami, I guess you could say, some of these teams where they get a team full of dudes that really don't care. You know? So Michigan getting players that actually want to be at Michigan, it helps tenfold because they actually want to be there. It actually means something to them. Hell, you just like Omarion Walker. He left Michigan, went to Ole Miss, and for a player to leave like that and to come right back, all that can tell you is, I made a mistake. The culture here isn't like at Michigan. You can tell that the culture at Michigan is a brotherhood now. You can really tell. You know what I'm saying? From when you see them speak in interviews and when you see them speak about the culture at Michigan, about how it's a brotherhood, how guys want each other to do better. Yeah, I might be the starter, but I want to help you be great because you can help Michigan be great. You know what I'm saying? Also, the culture of, yeah, I'm the starter. You're the backup, and you're the backup. But hell, you might have to play this year because we gonna rotate players. And if one of us gets hurt, you'll be in the rotation. And we kind of do that with everybody, except maybe running back. The rotation is kind of thin. They don't go deep into the rotation at like running back, but they might this year. But like safety, corner, linebacker, defensive line, the whole defense rotates like crazy. Offensive line, you see those guys rotate in. You see us bring in 2 extra offensive line. So you have to be ready. So all the starters, the culture is, I'm going to help you be great because it's going to help Michigan. So that's why you see these players talk about the culture. It has become a true brotherhood. That's what it's become. You know, shout out to, and it didn't become that because of just like the coaches. It became that because of the players saying, when I say players, that's Aiden Hutchinson. Shout out to Aiden. Got it started. Josh Ross, Brad Hawkins, Hassan Haskins, Cade McNamara. Not somewhat Cade. He kind of didn't want to help JJ when he came out, but hey, I'll throw you in there. Cade, Blake Corum was on that 2021. Those players made it a brotherhood. Like we have to raise the standard of what's going on at Michigan and hold each other accountable. We have to do it as players. We have to stop the nonsense and hold each other accountable so we can right the ship. Dax Hill, you know, all these dudes. So, you know, the brotherhood that has come with it, and I've talked about this before, the leadership gets passed down. You hear dudes talking about they want to be a leader, they're trying to be a leader because it's been passed down and you've actually got to see great leadership. The past 3 years have been some of the best leadership that you'll see, and it's been passed down. I know I've gotten off of recruiting, but I'm talking about players that want to be at Michigan and how it does matter, so they can develop the right way. Because these dudes are passing down the leadership. Who's going to be the next leader? I want to be that vocal leader. I want to lead not only on the field, but on the practice field, in the weight room. I want to be that because these dudes have seen it. Whether it was Blake Corum this year, whether it was J.J. McCarthy this year, whether it was, I guess you could say, Mike Morris, Blake 2022, and Mozzie Smith. You know what I'm saying? DJ Turner. Rod Moore has been a leader since he came. And then going back to 2021 with all those dudes I named before. Aiden, Josh Ross, Brad Hawkins. All those dudes. Hassan Haskins. So that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Michigan is missing out on some players that might be able to help and probably do want to go to Michigan, but the financial aspect of it is just too big to pass up. Like if you're 17 or 18 and you can make 100,000, now just imagine you're 18. Hell, some of these dudes 17. What up, bro? Just imagine you're 18 and somebody says, we're going to give you 100,000 to come play football. Hello. Is this life? Is this life? It will say he about to give me 100,000 to come play football for him. Yes, please. Yeah, I like Michigan, but they not, hey. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where we at with college football, you know. All we can hope for is that we continue to get players that want to be at Michigan so they excel because they want Michigan to be great. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. You know, those 5 stars, all those 5 stars and Ohio State having the pick of the litter. Oh, we don't want Donovan. We want Travion Henderson. Thank you. Now we got a guy that wants to be at Michigan and has a chip on his shoulder. Appreciate it. Rod Moore. He's not good enough for Ohio State. He's not even on our radar. Thank you. Now he's got a chip on his shoulder and he wants to beat you. J.J. McCarthy, the prodigal son, step on down. He wants to go to Ohio State, but he's not good enough for you. You don't want him. Thank you. Now he's got a chip on his shoulder and he hates you. So whether it was recruits just wanting to go to Michigan, Will Johnson, a legacy. You know what I'm saying? A guy like that that's supremely talented and wants to be at Michigan. You got players that wanted to go to Ohio State. Ohio State didn't want them, and now they got a chip on their shoulder, and they helped change the culture. Michigan changed the culture with legacy guys and guys that wanted to go to Ohio State that hate Ohio State now because Ohio State didn't want them. That's pretty much how the culture was changed. Aiden, Josh Ross, J.J. McCarthy, Rod Moore, Donovan Edwards, and let me not forget Hassan Haskins. He don't fall in either one of those categories, but you know. But we really changed the culture with legacy guys because it means something to them. and guys Ryan Day passed on because it means something to them to beat Ohio State. So all we can do is hope we keep getting guys that it means something to really continue that, you know. Once you get here, the development is there. You know what I'm saying? So I know I got long-winded on that from recruiting to development, but hey, I got a long ride. I got a long ride. I know, and speaking on that, I know it has to hurt. Ryan Day has to be kicking himself because he's got to be sitting there like, this can't be real. This can't be real that I could have had J.J. McCarthy, but I chose Kyle Mccord. I chose Devin Brown. I wouldn't even have to be dealing with this. I didn't want J.J. McCarthy. Rod Moore has been playing awesome against Ohio State since he was a freshman. I could have gotten this guy, but he wasn't on my radar, and I didn't want him. Donovan Edwards. This guy wanted to come to Ohio State, and I didn't want him. I wanted Travion. Like, this can't be happening. Like, he has to be smacking himself like, how did I let this happen? Like, this can't be life. Like, it has to hurt him. It just does. You know what I'm saying? But hey, what's the saying they always say? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Way you good looking. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, Michigan couldn't have turned it around without Ryan Day. We couldn't have did it. We couldn't have done it without him. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But somebody else was asking me something. I think yesterday. What do I see Michigan's record? If I'm being honest, probably 2 losses. Probably, maybe. And I say that because we don't know who the quarterback is. I mean, well, we don't know who it is. It seems like it's Orgy, but either way, we don't know how good the quarterback will be. You know, if I really knew how good our quarterbacks would be, I could really give you a real, okay, I think we're gonna. I can look at the teams we're playing, and you know, but I really don't know. Nobody does. You know, I think Vegas has us 9.5 wins as the over at 9.5, I believe, which is probably pretty accurate. 9-3 or 10-2, depending on how good the quarterback is, and you know, and how good the offensive line is. Because the question marks right now are quarterback and offensive line. You know, you could say receivers, but you know, with our tight ends, to me, receivers, this at receiver, I think the receivers have a real shot to be very explosive. All our receivers can run for the most part, besides like Peyton O'Leary, but Fred Moore, Tyler Morris, Samaj, Omarion Walker. Now the new dude, he's not that fast, I don't think, but those 4 guys I named, they can all fly. So I think the offense has a the receivers have a chance to be explosive when they get the ball in their hands. Way more explosive than last year. You know, you had Roman who was explosive, but that was pretty much it. And some Samaj here and there. But and Tyler Morris, he was injured on and off a lot of the year. So I think this year the receivers have a chance to be more explosive, you know, but you still got Loveland's your number one. So to me, and I'm saying this because the game has changed. Like I was saying earlier, with the playoff, the game has changed. So it really doesn't matter to me. As long as we get in the playoff, that's all I really care about. That's just me, because the game has changed. It's not a we have to be undefeated to make the playoff. If we can lose 3 games and make the playoff, I'll be fine with it. That's just me, because I want to win another championship. That's my ultimate goal, is the championship. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I want us, in the playoff, competing to defend the championship. But losing, if we, let's say, I'm not saying we will or anything. If you lose 3 games, you cutting it close to making the playoff. You're gonna be cutting it close. You might not get in. You probably ain't gonna get in unless you got 3 losses, 3 close losses to the best teams, which it's possible for us to have, honestly. But I just want to get in the playoff, however that is. You know, I know that's not a real prediction, but to me, there's too many question marks to really predict. The question mark is offense, the quarterback and the offensive line. How good can they be and how quickly can they gel? That's the real question mark. That's the real question mark. You know, what Michigan does, we're gonna run that rock and we're gonna play defense. So that takes you pretty far in itself. You know, if we had last year's schedule with all these cupcakes to start off, and then you just got Penn State. I ain't even gonna say Michigan State, because Michigan State was garbage last year. You just got Penn State, Ohio State, and Maryland, really. You know, I probably would have said you probably gonna go undefeated. We'll smack Penn State again, scrape by Maryland before the Ohio State game, and then scrape it out again against Ohio State. I would have said undefeated. But the schedule is hard from the jump this year. So, and I know my connection probably getting a little funny. I'm on the causeway. And then you got Texas. So there's no time for Orgy and the offensive line to have growing pains and still blow out a team and still get it under their belt. Nah. You under fire week 2. And then you got USC a couple weeks after that. Then you got Oregon, and then you got Washington. You got Michigan State in there somewhere. Then you got Ohio State. So you ain't getting a chance to get acclimated. The team acclimated while being that's a heavy task. I'm speaking on the offensive line, and I'm speaking whatever it is. He has to get acclimated. You know what I'm saying? So there's no, you have to, this year, that offensive line and that quarterback, they have to gel while playing big games. They got to get it. You know what I'm saying? While playing big games. That could be a lot. That could be a lot, you know. That could be a lot. Having to gel while playing consistent, having to play big games. You know what I'm saying? There's no lean into it. You know what I'm saying? So you got Fresno State and you got Texas. You got a few cupcakes in there. Then it's another big game. Then it's just you get in the Big Ten play, and hey, you ain't getting much of a break. So, and I really think that's why everything is a little ramped up with the team. Like, the team seems like it's a little ramped up because I think it has to be this year. You don't get to ease your way into the season this year. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got 4 weeks of cupcakes. Then you come into Big Ten play, and you still got cupcake Big Ten teams. So you had about 5-6 weeks of cupcakes or something like that. 5 weeks of, just cruising. We're just cruising. Ain't no cruising this year. That schedule is not, it's a hard, tough schedule. You ain't gonna get this cruise. So the team has to gel. Well, I'm not even saying the team. That offensive line and that quarterback and those receivers, that offense has to gel. It has to gel. It has to. Because if they don't, then you can see we're in struggle bus games. We don't want to be in them struggle bus games where you watching the game against Minnesota or something and you like, bruh, why is it 24-21 mid fourth quarter and I'm sweating? Why is it 14-17 going into the fourth? I don't know how this feels anymore. I'm not used to this. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that. We don't want that. So I'm just being real, I have faith in the offensive line and, the offense for the most part, but you still got to see it play out. Because if I'm going to be real, our offensive line didn't gel. It didn't really gel like that until later in the season. We were still trying to the offensive line was still trying to find their groove up until maybe Penn State, Maryland. It was late in the year. You know what I'm saying? And then they really gelled after Ohio State and the break for playoff. That layoff for the playoff, they really gelled. So, we gotta wait and see. I got faith in Sharon Moore. The reason why I'm not really worried, I'm just speaking hypothetical. These are hypotheticals. This isn't my, okay, this is really what I think. This is just me throwing hypotheticals out because none of us know. None of us know for a fact. You know what I'm saying? With the offense. Now for the defense, we know for a fact what the defense is going to be most likely. 9 times out of 10, we know. But the offense, you can't say that for a fact. You get what I'm saying? We can't say for a fact that Alex Orji's going to be good. We can't say for a fact that Jack Tuttle's going to be good, whoever the starter is. You know what I'm saying? We can't say for a fact that the offensive line is going to completely gel and is going to be dominant with this tough schedule. We can't say it for a fact. We got hope because Sherrone Moore has a track record of producing great offensive lines. That seems to be what he does. So, you know, if I gotta choose, I'm gonna go on the side of Sherrone Moore knows what he's doing, so he's probably gonna have the offensive line is gonna be good, and these dudes have been around and have waited their turn, and now it's their turn to start at Michigan on the offensive line, so they're gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? So I put my faith in Sherrone Moore and what he's been doing with the offensive line. But do we know it for a fact? No, I mean, we don't know anything for a fact, if I'm gonna say it like that. You know, a lot of people like to speak in absolutes. I don't really like to speak in absolutes. You know, it leaves a lot of room for you to look stupid. it leaves a lot of room for you to look stupid when you speak in absolutes, you know. But that's just what it is this year, you know. The question mark is that quarterback. That's the real question mark. How good will he be? How good can he be? And will that offensive line be what we need it to be? Because with a first-year starter, yeah, you want that offensive line to be dominant, and we're going to run the ball down your throat